This lesson is for Advanced Algebra, Lesson 11.8, on finding polynomial equations from tables. This lesson is basically a continuation of Lesson 11.7, where we used the finite differences method to determine the degree of a set of numbers. Before we review that, we're going to review some of the names of different sized polynomials. If a polynomial is called linear, it has a degree of 1. And it will look like ax plus b. There'll be two numbers at most that will either be a coefficient on your variable or a constant. If it's a degree 2, it'll be called a quadratic. And that will have the shape ax squared plus bx plus c. So it'll have two coefficients potentially and maybe one constant. If your polynomial is cubic in nature, it'll be degree 3. It'll be ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And you can see that that pattern will then continue for the quartic and for the quintic. Quartic is degree 4, quintic is degree 5, and you'll have ax to the 4th or ax to the 5th and so on. So when you use your calculator to find these polynomials, you have to tell it which degree to look for. So that's why we do finite differences first. And then we're going to tell it to do regression based on one of these words here, based on what the degree is. And then the calculator will generate a's, b's, and c's, or whatever else you need in order to create your polynomial. So what you're going to do is take the information that you're given in table form, and you're going to do the finite differences method just like you normally would. And so you subtract from right to left on the y values. And so when I subtract there, I get the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to continue to subtract until I get, that's right, 3 numbers in a row that are the same. So when I do that, I do get 1, 1, 1 here. Now be careful, the degree is not 1. The degree is 1, 2 sets of differences, so the degree here would be 2. So now I switch to my calculator and I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet and I'm going to type in the information. Column A will be the x values, column B will be the y values. So you type those in. One word of caution, make sure on the very last number that you type in this case 11, make sure you hit enter on that number. Many times students will type in the 11 and not hit enter, and when they try to do regression, the calculator gives them an error message because the calculator doesn't register that that number is there until after you've hit enter. So it's a good idea to get into the habit. Each time you type in a number, hit enter each time. When you hit enter, it'll move down the row or down the column, and so that's a good habit to get into. Before you start your regression, make sure you've moved your cursor away from the numbers. That'll also ensure that you've typed enter after each one. After you've typed in all of your data, you're going to use your up arrow to highlight one of the columns. So you hit up, 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 up until the whole column is highlighted. Use your shift key and then highlight the other column. So you've got both columns highlighted simultaneously. Then you're going to go to menu, and I'll give you these commands on the actual video here in just a minute. For now, just listen. Then you go to menu, statistics, stat calculations, and then you choose the proper regression for the finite differences that you got. In this case, you would choose quadratic regression. And so when I hit quadratic regression, it adds some things to my spreadsheet. In fact, it gives me an A and a B and a C. Now, if you don't remember what the quadratic equation looks like, just click on this cell here, and down at the bottom here, it'll tell you exactly what the equation will look like. For this case, it'll be ax squared plus bx plus c. And so now that you have your a, b, and c values, go ahead and plug those in. So 0.5 for a, 0.5 for b, and a 1 for c. So there's my equation for the polynomial that matches with the table that I was given. So that's your only example you're going to get for this method. Here's some information on the steps involved. To find a polynomial from an equation or a table, you're going to use the finite differences method to find the degree first. A quick reminder here, subtract the y values from right to left until you get 3 numbers in a row that are the same. Then you're going to type the table of values into a spreadsheet. Make sure you highlight both columns using your up arrow and then the shift key. Then you're going to choose the commands Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, and then you're going to choose the proper regression from what you did in step 1. So that could be either linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, or quintic. Then you have to assemble the pieces into an actual polynomial. Now these directions here are for the TI Inspire calculator. If you need help or assistance with the TI 83 or 84, you'll have to talk to your teacher.